Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a world that's hiding just beneath the surface of the everyday. Think cloaked figures, magic bursting out unexpectedly, destiny calling. We're unpacking the very first year of Harry Potter's journey. Our mission really is to explore how this seemingly ordinary boy steps into an extraordinary fate. We'll look at hidden truths, the clash of these two worlds, and what it really means to find friendship and courage.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how quickly things change. One minute life is normal or seems normal, and the next it's completely overturned. And there are so many layers of mystery just waiting there, even if you think you're paying close attention. The mundane totally masks the magical, just, waiting for that perfect moment to reveal itself.
Yeah, that masking is key. Because we start with the Dursleys, don't we? They are the absolute picture of normalcy, almost painfully so. And they're desperate, really desperate to keep it that way. Mr. Dursley, his day starts normally enough, but then it unravels. He keeps seeing things he can't explain. People in cloaks, owls flying during the day, even shooting stars.
Mm.
And he tries so hard to ignore it all. He wouldn't even mention his sister-in-law, Mrs. Potter. But then he actually bumps into this mysterious old guy in a violet cloak.
Yeah, who's openly celebrating?
Exactly. Celebrating you-know-who being gone and talking about muggles, non-magical people.
Yeah.
It immediately throws this huge divide into sharp relief, two worlds, side by side, but totally separate.
In that denial, it connects to this bigger idea, doesn't it? It kind of makes you wonder how many different realities might be swirling around us, totally unseen by most people.
hmm And while they're trying to squash all this weirdness, Harry's life, well, it's anything but normal, even if he doesn't realize why. He's stuck in that cupboard under the stairs, wearing his cousin's baggy old clothes,
Mhm.
and there's already magic happening, little accidental bursts, like at the zoo, remember, on Dudley's birthday trip. Harry somehow starts talking to this boa constrictor.
Yeah, the Brazilian one.
Right. And suddenly the glass just vanishes. Poof, Snick gets
Mhm.
away. Or that time his hair grew back overnight after a
Mm.
terrible haircut from Aunt Petunia. These little things, they're like warning signs.
They really are. And what's so compelling is how the magical world just keeps trying to reach him. It shows that, some truths, they just won't stay buried, no matter how hard people, like the Dursleys, try to suppress them. The signs just escalate and escalate. It does raise a question for our own lives. What happens when the truth just refuses to be ignored?
And ignore it, they try. Then the letters start. Just floods of them. Addressed specifically to Harry in the cupboard under the stairs. The Dursleys completely freak out. They board up the mail slot. They run away, ending up in this miserable little shack on a rock out at sea. They think they've finally done it, escaped it all.
But you can't really escape destiny, can you?
Not this one, apparently. Because bang on Harry's 11th birthday, there's this huge key rash. The door flies open, and in comes Rubius Hagrid, this giant of a man. Keeper of keys at Hogwarts.
Such a dramatic entrance.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Hagrid just blows their whole story apart. Tells Harry the truth about his parents, not a car crash, but murdered by the dark wizard Voldemort. And that Voldemort tried to kill Harry too, which is how he got that lightning bolt scar. Hagrid's loyalty to Dumbledore just shines through. I would trust Hagrid with my life, Dumbledore says later. And then he delivers the line, Harry, you're wizard. Just like that.
Yeah.
Changes everything. So Hagrid takes Harry away from the Dursleys and into Diagon Alley. And wow, what an introduction to the wizarding world. It's this bustling, secret street packed with magic, totally hidden from muggles. And Harry steps in, and suddenly, everyone knows his name, whispering, pointing.
The boy who lived.
Yeah.
He's instantly famous.
Yeah, famous for something he doesn't even remember. They go to Gringotts, the bank run by goblins, super high security, and Harry finds out he's actually got a small fortune left by his parents. Hagrid also picks up this mysterious little package from Vault 713, a really high-security vault. Hagrid warns Harry, you'd be mad to try and rob it, hints of dragons guarding the place. It definitely plants a seed of mystery.
Oh, absolutely. Setting up intrigue right away.
But for me, the bit that really gets interesting, maybe even a bit unsettling, is the visit to Ollivander's wand shop. Finding the right wand is this whole personal magical process. And Harry's wand, it turns out its core, a phoenix feather, has a brother from the same phoenix.
And the other feather.
It's in Voldemort's wand.
Chills. I mean, talk about foreshadowing. His connection to his enemy is literally embedded in the tool he'll use for magic. It's
Yeah.
profound.
It really is. Like destiny is woven right into the wooden feather. How much is fate? How much is choice? That question starts right there. Okay, so Harry's got his supplies, his wand. Now for the journey to Hogwarts itself. Finding platform 9 3/4 is his first magical hurdle, right? bit confusing.
A test of faith, almost. Gotta run at a solid wall.
Right. But he does it, and on the Hogwarts Express, he meets Ron Weasley. Big family, all red hair, not much money. Ron's very open about that, comparing his sandwiches to whatever Harry bought from the trolley. And then Hermione Granger shows up. Brilliant. Knows all the spells already, maybe a bit bossy at first.
Just a bit.
Yeah. She comes from a non-magical Muggle family, but she's completely absorbed everything. The cultural differences are fascinating, too, like the sweets, every flavor bean.
Oh, God, the bogey-flavored ones?
Exactly. And chocolate frogs with the collectible cards. Harry gets Dumbledore right away.
And what's great there is how these shared experiences, even just being on that train, start breaking down the barriers. Different backgrounds, Harry's fame and money, Ron's lack of it, Hermione's Muggle heritage. But they connect pretty quickly.
Yeah, that shared wonder, maybe, or just being thrown into this totally new situation together.
Exactly. It shows how friendships can just spark in those shared moments of discovery.
So what really cements that initial bond, you think?
Yeah.
Besides the sweets? Well, arriving at Hogwarts is huge, right?
Hmm.
And then the sorting ceremony, this ancient singing sorting hat, decides which of the 4 houses they belong to. Gryffindor is for bravery, nerve. Hufflepuff for loyalty, hard work. Ravenclaw values wit and learning. And Slytherin, well, Slytherin is known for cunning, ambition.
And it has that reputation.
It does. Hagrid warned Harry about it, linked it to dark wizards like you-know-who. So Harry's sitting there under the hat just thinking, not Slytherin, not Slytherin.
That internal struggle is so important.
It is. And he gets Gryffindor. Big relief. It feels like his first major choice, in a way. Choosing his values. Then classes start. It's a real mix. You've got history of magic, taught by a ghost, Professor Binns, who's incredibly boring, apparently.
Drones on and on.
Then herbology with Professor Sprout, charms of tiny Professor Flitwick, Wingardium Leviosa trying to make feathers fly, transfiguration with Professor McGonagall turning matches into needles. Harder than it sounds.
Definitely.
Everyone's excited for Defense Against the Dark Arts, but Professor Quirrell is this nervous, stuttering guy wearing a turban that smells strongly of garlic, supposedly to ward off vampires.
Suspicious from the start, maybe?
Well, maybe in hindsight. But then there's potions with Professor Snape. And Snape, he just seems to hate Harry. Instantly. Picks on him, asks him impossible questions, takes points off Gryffindor for no good reason.
Yeah, that Snape dynamic is set up immediately. It's classic misdirection, isn't it? You're led to believe he's the villain. And it makes you think, how often do we make snap judgments? Assume the worst, based on how someone acts, without knowing the full story, the hidden motives. Snape's hostility feels so real, so personal.
It totally does. Seems completely unfair. But maybe there's more to it. We're definitely made to wonder. Amidst all that classroom drama, though, comes the first flying lesson. And Harry, he's a natural. Never flown before, but he just takes off, dives perfectly to catch Neville's Rememberall after Malfoy throws it.
Malfoy. Always causing trouble.
Yep. Tries to get Harry expelled for flying without permission. But Professor McGonagall sees his talent. Instead of punishing him, she makes him the Gryffindor Seeker for Quidditch. Unheard of for a first year.
A real turning point for him, finding something he's amazing at.
Definitely. Then things take a darker turn around Halloween.
Yeah.
Remember, Professor Quirrell comes sprinting into the Great Hall, screaming about a troll.
Troll! In the dungeons!
Chaos ensues. Total chaos. And Harry and Ron realize Hermione doesn't know she'd been upset and was crying in the girls' bathroom. So they run off to warn her. And they end up facing this huge 12-foot mountain troll together. They manage to knock it out. Ron remembers the levitation charm, Wingardium Leviosa.
Hermione's quick thinking under pressure, too.
Absolutely. And in that moment, facing that danger, that's when the three of them really become friends. Solidified. Hermione even lies to the professors to keep Harry and Ron out of trouble, taking the blame.
That's huge. She loses points for Gryffindor, but gains their loyalty forever.
Yeah. And just as things calm down, they notice Snape limping away from the scene, which is weird, right? What was he doing there? It's another little breadcrumb suggesting something else is going on.
Adds to the suspicion around him, definitely.
So the suspicion around Snape ramps up during the first Quidditch match. Harry's playing Seeker, doing great, and then suddenly his broom starts jerking violently, trying to throw him off.
Like it's cursed.
Exactly. Everyone's looking up in horror. But Hermione sees Snape across the stands, staring intently at Harry, muttering under his breath. She thinks he's jinxing the broom.
Quick thinking, Hermione springs into action.
She does. Sneaks over, sets Snape's robes on fire with a little blue flame. That breaks his concentration, or whatever he was doing, and Harry regains control of his broom, catches the snitch. Gryffindor wins.
Big cheer, but the doubt remains.
Oh, yeah. They're convinced Snape tried to kill Harry.
And this whole jinxing incident, it really hammers home that there are unseen forces at work, right? Real danger lurking beneath the, school routines and Quidditch games. It's not all fun and magic.
Not at all. That sense of hidden danger just keeps growing. And then Hagrid, bless him, accidentally lets slip some crucial clues. He mentions the name Nicholas Flamel in connection with whatever that three-headed dog Fluffy is guarding. And he confirms Fluffy belongs to him, and he's guarding something Dumbledore asked him to look after. Something involving Flamel.
Another piece of the puzzle. Sends the trio scrambling to the library.
Right. Then Christmas comes. Harry stays at Hogwarts, gets presents for the first time, really, including an amazing anonymous gift, an invisibility cloak.
Which belonged to his father, though he doesn't know that yet.
No, not yet. But he immediately uses it to sneak into the restricted section of the library at night, still looking for Flamel. And while sneaking around, he stumbles into this unused classroom and finds the mirror of Arised.
Ah, the mirror, such a powerful object.
Totally. He looks in, and he doesn't see himself. He sees his family, his parents, other relatives, all smiling back at him. It's exactly what he wants most in the world. He's captivated.
Utterly mesmerizing for someone who lost so much.
He brings Ron the next night. Ron looks in, and he sees himself as head boy, Quidditch captain, holding the house cup. His deepest desires are about achievement, stepping out of his brother's shadows.
Different desires, same principle.
Exactly. Dumbledore finds Harry there eventually and explains it. It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts. But he warns him, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Wise words. Don't get lost in what you wish for.
When Harry asks Dumbledore what he sees, Dumbledore just says he sees himself holding a pair of thick woolen socks, which is, well, typical Dumbledore. Maybe true, maybe not.
Huh, yeah. But the mirror itself, it's such a profound symbol, isn't it? It really makes you, the reader, think about your own deepest desires. What drives you? Is it what you lack, like Harry, or what you hope to achieve, like Ron, or something else entirely?
It's a real moment for introspection. So the mirror gets moved, but the search for Flamel continues. And Hermione, of course, has the breakthrough. She finds him. On the back of a Dumbledore chocolate frog card she got ages ago. Nicholas Flamel, the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Bingo! The stuff a Cliffy's guarding.
Exactly. A legendary stone that grants immortality and turns metal into gold. Suddenly it all clicks. Someone's trying to steal the stone.
And they suspect Snape.
Still suspecting Snape. But just as they figure this out, they uncover another secret. Hagrid's got a dragon egg. And it hatches.
Norbert? The Norwegian Ridgeback?
Right. Which is highly illegal to keep. Hagrid's the thrill, but it's obviously dangerous getting too big. Malfoy sees it through the window, tries to get them in trouble.
Yeah.
Ron gets bitten quite badly. His hand swells up. They realize they have to get rid of Norbert.
Leads to that whole elaborate plan.
Yeah, contacting Ron's brother Charlie, who works with dragons in Romania, they arrange this midnight handover on the tallest tower.
Smuggling a dragon out of Hogwarts, what could go wrong?
Well, they get Norbert away successfully, but they forget the invisibility cloak on the tower. Filch catches them on the way down, and Neville gets caught too. He was trying to warn them they were going to get into trouble.
Oh, Neville. Good intentions.
Always. But the result? Detention for all three, plus Malfoy, who was also out of bed.
Yeah.
And Gryffindor loses a whopping 150 points. Harry goes from hero seeker to 0, basically. Everyone in Gryffindor is furious with him.
Rough times. Yeah.
And their detention. It's in the Forbidden Forest. With Hagrid. Looking for something that's been hurting the unicorns. Totally creepy. They split up. Harry ends up with Malfoy and Fang, Hagrid's dog. They encounter some centaurs, Ronan, who's very philosophical about the stars, and Bane, who's much more hostile towards humans.
The centaurs know things. They read the future in the stars.
They do. Then Harry sees it. A cloaked figure hunched over a dead unicorn drinking its blood.
Horrifying image.
Absolutely chilling. The figure advances on Harry, but a centaur named Ferenz leaps out and saves him, carries Harry away on his back. Ferenz explains that drinking unicorn blood keeps you alive, even if you're an inch from death. But it's a terrible price you live, a cursed half-life. Only someone desperate, someone with nothing to lose would do it.
And he names the name.
He implies it heavily. He says the figure in the forest is trying to regain strength, waiting. Hints strongly that it's Voldemort.
So now all the pieces connect. Voldemort survived, he's hiding, he's drinking unicorn blood for strength, and he's after the Sorcerer's Stone to fully return.
Exactly. It all snaps into focus. It's not Snape trying to steal the stone for himself. It's Voldemort, using someone, probably Snape, to get it. Harry is now totally convinced they have to stop him. His conviction gets even stronger when Hagrid accidentally lets slip how to get past Fluffy. Oh, Hagrid. Can't keep a secret. Nope. He reveals he told a stranger in the pub how to calm Fluffy down. Just play him a bit of music. Harry realizes that stranger must have been working for Voldemort, maybe Snape, maybe Quirrell. So, Harry decides he has to go after the stone himself. Ron and Hermione naturally insist on going with him.
The power of friendship.
Absolutely. Neville tries to stop them, bless him, doesn't want Gryffindor to lose any more points, stands up to them bravely.
Which earns him points later.
It does. But, in the moment, Hermione has to use a full body bind Curse Petrificus Totalis on him. They feel bad, but they have to go. Harry uses the invisibility cloak, tricks Peeves the poltergeist by pretending to be the Bloody Baron, and they get to Fluffy's corridor.
And this is where their teamwork really shines, isn't it? Each challenge requires something different from them. Harry's bravery, sure, but also Ron's strategic thinking, especially with the chess game, and Hermione's logic and knowledge. They literally couldn't do it without each other.
Not a chance. So, first challenge, Fluffy. Harry plays the flute Hagrid gave him, lulls the dog to sleep. They drop through the trapdoor. Next up, Professor Sprout's Devil's Snare, a nasty plant that tries to constrict them. Ron panics, but Hermione remembers it hates sunlight, uses a charm to create light, and it releases them.
Hermione's cool head saving the day.
Then Professor Flitwick's challenge, a room full of flying keys, hundreds of them. One key fits the door, but it's old and have a broken wing. Harry spots it, jumps on a broomstick. They find there his seeker skills kick in.
Perfect for him.
Catches the right key after a tricky chase. Unlocks the door. Next room. Professor McGonagall's giant wizard chess set. They have to play their way across the board as actual chess pieces. Ron, being the best chess player, takes charge.
And makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah. He realizes that the only way for Harry to checkmate the king is for Ron himself to be taken by the queen. He plays the knight, gets knocked out cold, but it clears the path for Harry. Heroic move.
Totally Ron's moment.
Harry and Hermione go on. Next room, Professor Quirrell's challenge. But there's just a knocked-out troll lying there. Quirrell must have dealt with his own protection. Or maybe someone else did. Unclear at the time.
Leaves you wondering.
Final room, Professor Snape's challenge. A logic puzzle involving potions. 7 bottles, different shapes, fire blocking the way forward and back. Hermione figures it out brilliantly. One potion lets you go forward, one lets you go back.
But only enough of the forward potion for one person.
Right. Hermione sends Harry on alone to face Snape, or whoever's trying to steal the stone. She takes the potion to go back and help Ron. Another brave choice.
Trusting Harry to handle the final confrontation.
So Harry steps through the black fire
and
finds not Snape, but Professor Quirrell, standing there calmly.
The big reveal.
Huge. Quirrell admits everything. He let the troll in. He tried to kill Harry during the Quidditch match. Snape was actually muttering a counter curse, trying to save Harry.
Wow. Mind blown.
Totally. Snape hated Harry's father, Quirrell explains, but he still felt he owed him a debt, tried to protect Harry. And then Quirrell reveals the final horrifying truth. He unwraps his turban, and on the back of his head is the face of Voldemort. Pale, snake-like, just awful.
Chilling. Voldemort was literally sharing Quill's body, hiding in plain sight all year.
It explains the garlic, the stutter, all an act may be influenced by Voldemort.
And this twist, it just completely reframes everything we thought about Snape, doesn't it? It forces you to question first impressions, perceived hostility. What's really going on underneath?
Absolutely. So Harry confronts Quirrell Voldemort. Voldemort wants Harry to look in the mirror of Arised, which is somehow in the room now, to find the stone. Harry looks, sees himself putting the stone in his pocket, and feels it actually appear there. The mirror knew his desire wasn't to use the stone, just to find it before Voldemort.
Clever magic.
Voldemort orders Quirrell to seize Harry, but when Quirrell touches Harry's skin, Quirrell screams in agony. His hands blister.
The protection.
Yes. Harry realizes he can hurt Quirrell just by touching him. He grabs Quirrell's face. Intense pain. And then everything goes black for Harry. He wakes up later in the hospital wing. Dumbledore is there. Quirrell is dead. Voldemort's spirit fled. Dumbledore arrived just in time to pull Quirrell off Harry.
Close call.
Very. And Dumbledore explains why Quirrell couldn't touch Harry. It was Harry's mother's love. Her sacrifice left a mark, a powerful, ancient magic protection in his very skin.
To have been loved so deeply will give us some protection forever. Such a powerful line.
It really is. Love is the ultimate magic. Dumbledore also reveals he sent Harry the invisibility cloak and that the Sorcerer's Stone has now been destroyed with Nicholas Flamel's agreement. Flamel and his wife have enough elixir to set their affairs in order, then they'll die.
A peaceful end after centuries.
Yeah. Then Hagrid visits, all emotional, blaming himself for telling Quirrell how to get past Fluffy. He didn't know it's Quirrell Voldemort in disguise. And Hagrid gives Harry this incredibly thoughtful gift, a photo album, magically filled with pictures of his parents, the first photos Harry's ever seen of them.
Oh, that's just perfect. So meaningful.
He really is, a connection to his past. Finally, the end-of-year feast. Slytherin has won the House Cup. The banners are all green and silver. Everyone's a bit glum in Gryffindor. But then Dumbledore gets up to give some last-minute points. 50 points to Ron for the best-played game of chess Hogwarts has seen in many years. 50 to Hermione for the use of cool logic in the face of fire. 60 to Harry for pure nerve and outstanding courage.
Tying it up.
Almost. Gryffindor is tied with Slytherin. Then Dumbledore says, it takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends. 10 points to Neville Longbottom.
Neville gets the winning points.
Exactly. Gryffindor wins the House Cup. The banners magically change from green to Gryffindor scarlet and gold. Just pandemonium. A perfect end to the year. So what a year, right? Harry starts as this neglected kid in the cupboard, discovers he's a wizard, makes friends, faces mortal danger, learns about his past, and finds incredible courage he never knew he had. It's really a journey about identity, about the strength you find in friendship, and ultimately about how powerful love can be, even against the darkest magic.
Absolutely. And this whole deep dive, looking back at that first year, it really highlights that courage comes in so many forms, not just fighting trolls or facing Voldemort. Sometimes, like Neville showed us, real courage is having the strength to stand up to your friends, to do what's right even when it's unpopular or difficult. It kind of makes you think, doesn't it? In your own life, where do those moments of quiet, maybe even difficult courage show up?
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a world that's hiding just beneath the surface of the everyday. Think cloaked figures, magic bursting out unexpectedly, destiny calling. We're unpacking the very first year of Harry Potter's journey. Our mission really is to explore how this seemingly ordinary boy steps into an